almost all of them talked about their language requirements, but they were not so specific. So I want to know what are the language requirements, the English test for the Commonwealth scholarships.
That will be answered by at a certain session. We have a session specific for the English test. We have another question. Papa, to your question will be captured. We have another question. Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Harriet Nancha. So my question is the call for scholarship open to direct application or is have to go through nominations by the different nominating groups?
Thank you. Please take note of that question. One of the panelists will respond. Do we have any other question? Yes, Haneiba, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Martin. I have one question and I will seek clarification on one other issue. So my question is, how is it for a student who has a master's degree from a less developed country, say Makerere University, to get funded for a PhD in the UK? I have so many colleagues, and the experience has been people who have studied from abroad can easily get these scholarships studied from within the country. And the second one, I'm just seeking clarification. I happened to apply to London School for a master's in medical statistics, and that was in 2016. And at the time I was already enrolled in a master's program in Makerere. I was doing a master's in clinical epidemiology and biostatistics, and there were two colleagues that applied for that scholarship. My colleague was given, and I was not given. So I just tried to find out why I wasn't given. Could it be that grades? I have a first-class degree at my bachelor's level. I thought that would be sufficient. Okay, plus the few things that you talked about, the statement of purpose and stuff like that. But then I had information that some of the universities don't offer master's programs to students who have already a master's degree or who already enrolled in a master's program in another university. So I'd like to know whether it's true that if I have a master's from Makerere, for example, I may not be eligible for a master's in the UK. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So those are the two. Do we have any other questions? Yes, there are two hands over here.
Thank you so much. My name is Joseph Akamfrida, finalist, civil engineering. My question will go to Madam Annette. She spoke about her application came in when she was in her third year. I would like to know from her, when were you granted this chance? Were you still third year by then, and then you had to go for a year? When I apply in third year, and it happens that I'm given, but I have to go for a year in year 4, then maybe I can go after year 4. So if I'm given maybe 2 years back, do I still qualify for that chance? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. There's another hand here.
Yes, my name is Fatuma. Thank you so much for the presentation. It's quite insightful. Yeah, my question is, when you're talking about fellowships, you only mentioned about professional and something to do with medical. Are there other fellowships that I can apply to and get a fellowship, and what is the procedure? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Any other question? Yes, we have two more hands on the table here.
Thanks. The panelists, I'm called Nahumia Christian, recent graduate from Chambo University. Yeah, I would like the panelists to clarify more on how to apply for scholarships. Like when you are applying, do you have first applied in a certain university and you get an admission letter, and later on you apply for the scholarships? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I'm called Fiona. My question is very simple. Are these scholarships annual? Do they come annually or do they come after some years?
Okay, thank you very much. We have two other questions from the online audience. And the questions from the online audience are, what are some of the courses in ICT and management? And then the second question, sorry, I didn't get the name, but I think, yeah. The second question is, can you get a scholarship with a conditional admission from university? And in brackets, a case of the Commonwealth shared scholarships. So we'll start with the last question, and the last question is going to Patrick. Patrick, the question around being able to get a scholarship when you have a conditional admission letter and specifically the shared scholarship. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me just have a quick one at that, and the one of fellowships. Is it possible to have a scholarship with a conditional offer? I think the answer I can give there is a yes. On condition that that very impending condition that they provided is financial related. Because most times these universities will give you an offer on condition that you can pay. So by showing cause that you have a scholarship to fund the program, you kind of satisfy that condition. So it is possible. The other condition could be an English test condition. Now, the scholarship, if the condition for, and this one normally comes from the university. A case in point, when I was applying to Cambridge, the condition was for me to have a test score of 7.5 and above for each of those categories. And so, me applying to the British Council and doing the test meant that I needed to get the scores beyond the requirement for me to satisfy it. So that means the Commonwealth would have actually given me the scholarship, but I would not have taken it up because the university would not allow me to continue with them because I've not satisfied the condition if I had got below the 7.5. So those are some of the conditions. But I believe the scholarship, you can get it even with conditional offers. So the onus is for the scholar to satisfy those conditions. Then about the fellowships. Yeah, I said there are general fellowships, then there are medical fellowships. Now, the medical fellowships are just for those who are in the medical field. While the general ones can be for teachers, can be for engineers, can be for whatever category of professional you belong to. Okay? So it's about you to describe your category and look for fellowships in that area. Or you just apply for the general one. Because I believe for the medical ones, there are specific places where you have to go and be placed. And most times, they place you in their hospitals. Okay? So that you appreciate their undertakings, their practices, and being able to learn from it, borrow and use them, bring them back home, and improve practices in Uganda. So I think that was Fatuma. Fiona, let me also respond to you that are the scholarships annual or perennial? They are annual. They are rolled out every year. So as intending scholars, the onus is on you to actually know the period. We are going to share the period when these scholarships are advertised by the Scholarship Commission and also advertised by the nominating agencies. And I think our friend Mr. Okello tried to give us some pointers to that direction. And I think in the next phase of our discussions or sharing, those things will come out very clearly. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Just a quick one. I also needed to tell you that many times universities would give you partial because you don't have the full transcript. So until you go and present, or somewhere you present it, so there are conditions. But then, yeah, you may have an incomplete testimonial, or some of them say they want a full certificate that shows that you have a second upper or a first class. So those conditions usually are communicated by the university. So the next question is about the IT courses. Do we have somebody who is in IT?
She raised her hand. I think she wanted to ask something. Right?
Please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Missy Bennett. My question is to do with sections. Just inquiring if there is any section to do with aviation. Yes.
Thank you very much. Is there a section? Is there a team for aviation? I think, Gladys, you want to take this because you talked about the STEM. So take it on. Do we have... And after you've given, Simon would also say something. Please take it on.
Yeah, I think that falls under STEM. You know, it's in the line of technology. And also, if you see the themes of Commonwealth, you'll see science and technology for development coming up. So actually, if you Google all the ICTs and aviation and all the other engineering courses, you'll see, actually you can go university by university and see what courses do they do in engineering, what courses do they do in medicine, what courses are there. And then you'll actually sieve out all. There might be some universities that don't offer the courses you want, then others offer. Then you choose wisely.
Just also to add, what you also need to note is that there's what they call eligible courses. So whenever there's a call, they have eligible courses and specific universities that are partnering for that call. So to answer you, every year, you have to literally go and look at the eligible courses. That is where you'll get the actual answer in terms of if what I want is being offered. Now, in my experience, I've not seen anything with aviation, maybe because it is not too directly involved when we speak in terms of development impact. Does that make sense? In other words, there are other courses in gender and even in the sciences, but I've not seen aviation, generally speaking. I hope that answers you. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much. So just the next questions are around, this is for Annette. Annette, the question around third year. And there was a question around something on you applied when you had your third year. Would you wait until you finish the fourth year? Is there a possibility to postpone your admission? Is there a possibility to forward your scholarship? I think that needs to come out clear. And just before you come, there are specific universities again that have the shared scholarship. So you can go and Google specifically and look at universities that are doing aviation and see if within them they have taken the initiative to lobby the Commonwealth or other scholarships within the university for that specialty that you're interested in. And please take the floor.
Thank you so much. I was in my third year when I applied. So, like I told you, you apply for Commonwealth scholarships, I think around October, September, October, and then you get the results next year in June. That's about a full year, 9 months, right? So I applied when I was in my third year, at the end of my third year. So I just finished my bachelor's in August 2020. I applied in 2019, graduated in 2020. Then from there, right, I went straight to the UK to start my master's. Did I answer that? So the process takes a longer time. That's what he talked about, patience. Don't expect the results to come in 1 month or 3 months. You got to wait. Well, to get good things, you have to wait. Thank you all, Mala.
Thank you very much. So there was the question by Martin, and Martin was asking about the first class and having a master's from Uganda, and does it hinder you from getting a master's from the UK? Do we have experience on that one? Ibrahim, thank you. And then the second question is that the issue of PhDs between the low, middle-income countries and the developed countries, that there's a bias, that many times the scholarships are easily got for those who have masters from the developed countries than for those who have masters and are applying for PhDs to the UK. Thank you. Please take it, Ibrahim.
Thank you so much for these questions. Now, when you're applying for a Commonwealth scholarship, be it a general scholarship or a shared scholarship, it's not a must that you should be having a bachelor's from abroad. Personally, I had a bachelor's from Chamberlain University in food processing technology, and then I applied to the UK, the master's. So as long as you're having a bachelor's, the requirement is you should be having a bachelor's for a master's, or you should be having a master's for a PhD. It doesn't matter which country you had it from. Actually, even the grade, definitely there's competition that a person having a first class may be having an added advantage, but still if you have a second class upper with experience, or a second class lower with experience, with a good motivation, with good references, you've been nominated by a nominating agency, you will still get the scholarship. So you shouldn't worry about that.
Thank you very much. Add on, Martin, many times, like if you had Okello, the application is not complete. And until you get feedback on specifics around why you are not considered, you may have your first class degree, but your referee has not sent the reference in time. You may have your first class degree, but your motivation letter is wanting. In your opinion, it may look good, but we say one's opinion is skewed based on where they are positioning themselves. So if you had a reviewer who was looking at your motivation letter, and in his or her mind, it didn't look thorough, you may stand a chance. I am one who had a master's degree here, but I went and did another one in Liverpool. I had got a master's from then they would say, the weakest universities. And I was just doing it because one of my mentors said, you are growing old, you need a master's. And I said, okay, let me go and jump on this master's. And I started doing the master's. And 3/4 down the road, I get the thing and So, I think there are unique and different situations and circumstances. But the point you need to take, I want to say what everybody said. Give an extra eye, give an extra person. I think Okello said this very loud. Give an extra eye, give an extra person to be able to digest and look at your application documents. Another trick, allow me to say this passionately, another trick is to ensure that you do kakuyege with the potential supervisor in the university you're going to apply, because that is the person who can do some politics for you. So you may have applied randomly for the PhD, and you know the PhDs in most times are very specialized. You need to have an academic mentor. You need to have an academic person who can speak for you in your absence. So you need to demonstrate that you have that relationship. And it is that relationship that would pick you and make me, who doesn't have a first-class degree, because I have done my kakuyege, be able to take it on and you lose it. I don't know whether I've communicated. Thank you. So I think we are done with those set of questions. But was it called Bafashi on the English test? We shall have a session for that. I know Okello has other commitments somewhere, but I just wanted to give him 1 or 2 minutes to just say what he wanted to say, and then we have the video and continue on the next session. Okello, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I listened to the questions. They are very, very questions, and I want to thank our friends who responded. And as far away, those who wish to apply through FAWE, I have to tell you that we are available, and we shall always be there to support you and any other students who may be coming through. I once more want to say thank you for inviting us. We shall always work together. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Okello. If there are questions on the chat, why we should first class and second and that kind of thing, my response to those on the online platform is that every scholarship and every opportunity has benchmarks and minimum requirements, and many times these are set by the Commonwealth Scholarship Secretariat. And so it is just good that we work hard and get serious and mentor our siblings, our cousins, our children to get focused, just like Patrick said, because every step in the academic journey really matters and influences how we progress. So with those remarks, I want us to move to the next session of the agenda and of the program. And we are now going into we have a bit of videos, we have done a bit of, so can we have videos from testimonies from alumni? You can just have that short video and then we go into the next session and we'll wrap up. Thank you. And if you have questions, just jot them down. Towards the end, we shall share all our contacts and we can support the process of helping you get there. Thank you.
And I did my master's in psychology. The Commonwealth Scholarship was such a great opportunity to me because it opened doors for me to enhance my research skills that I greatly use now as a researcher and a psychologist at Mulago National Referral Hospital in Uganda. I would advise anyone who wants to apply for a scholarship to please take the opportunity. They are fully funded and they give you such a great opportunity to network with different professionals and different scholars from around Africa, from the Caribbean, and around the world basically. Such great social capital that I personally am happy to have right now. The scholarships are also great because they give me personally exposure to see what development is out there. And that inspired me to come back home and actually see to it that I am a force of change in my own country. So if you're interested in the Commonwealth Scholarship, please go ahead and apply for it. It is such a great opportunity.
My name is Arthur Iwandaba, a scholar in 2012 at University of Greenwich. I'm a Commonwealth alumni. I encourage you to apply for the Commonwealth scholarships These scholarships are premium scholarships which are attainable at a UK university. All costs are made by the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission, ranging from upkeep to the tuition, research grant. I can tell you I've seen so many scholarships that I cannot compare these scholarships with the Commonwealth scholarships. Personally, I've benefited. I couldn't be who I am. I've done scholarships. My current practice, everything I do is if it's the knowledge I gain, and I get the scholarship in the UK.
With my fellowship in East London Images Trust Foundation, and I was based in Newark, Auto, is child medical specialist unit. And when I came back, I had to put in my experience. Child and adolescent unit was opened up in Health Hospital as a result of the training I got from East London, which is very good right now. We have a number of children having bedside services. And quite at London, it was a great experience meeting with other fellows and scholars in different countries, in Commonwealth countries. Very interesting was the Commonwealth Observance Day, whereby all Commonwealth scholars and other people that were investing staff in was a great experience. And we moved to places like Cambridge, which was here and every goods, so it was really there. I call upon people, especially in the mental health fraternity, to apply for the fellowship. It's a great thing. It impacts in our country. Thank you so much.
My name is Joseph Ngo. I graduated in 1999. I attended Imperial College and I did an advanced completion degree. I had worked 10 years before I applied for the scholarship, and for me it was a great opportunity to advance my career and my learning. It gave me an opportunity to interact with a lot of people, and I think the scholarship is a great opportunity for young leaders, people who are coming into their careers. I think it's a great opportunity to get exposure, to further your career, and to apply that learning.
I feel the impact of the scholarship because it has been life-changing to me. It has enriched my career and practice, but most importantly, it has unlocked boundaries, it has unlocked barriers within that I am able to share experiences with scholars and friends in the global south and the global north. And those experiences have been priceless, especially with regard to my career. And so what I encourage fellow comrades, people who are looking forward to fulfilling their dreams, take it on. This is a huge opportunity for you to impact not only on your community, your nation, but the world.
Hi, my name is Samuel, and I'm here to tell you a little bit more about the Commonwealth scholarships and fellowships. I personally benefited from a master's in Education and International Development at University College London, and I can tell you I've been able to find a lot of rich knowledge in my practice as an international education consultant here in Japan. I highly encourage many of you who are considering applying for scholarships, consider the Commonwealth Scholarship and Fellowships Program to get the opportunity to advance your career and professional development at a top leading university in the UK.
I have been trained and equipped both for my master's and my PhD by the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission, and I've been able to gain skills and experience and expertise that I've been able to apply in the real world here in Uganda. Being able to have the opportunity to go out to the UK, learn a couple of things, get some skills, coming back here and apply it, it's been a tremendous encouragement from the Commonwealth scholarships. I have also been able to get interest in clinical research, and currently doing clinical research, especially for infectious diseases, in malaria and HIV particularly, and learning how best to design and innovative ways of dealing with this information of children and how these interventions can actually improve the well-being of these children. My encouragement to you, especially if you are in the psychology and psychiatry field, to apply for these opportunities, because then you can learn from experts around the world and be able to come back and apply the same skills to improve the livelihood and well-being of children and others.
Looking at my own country, Uganda.
Okay, thank you. So you can see that there are tremendous testimonies that have seen, and people have got hands-on, and people have been able to get opportunities, build networks, and the like. So members in this house and on the digital platform, please, we encourage you, and we shall be here, and we are here to share you and share with you the information. Just make sure you register on, and yeah, we shall be sharing with you details about the alumni session and how we can help you. So we are now moving to the next section, and so I would request that we have Annette take on a bit of the questions that focus on the processes and applications. Maybe she could respond to some questions there and give more insights, and then we proceed. Thank you. Annette, please take it on.
Okay, thank you so much. The question I'm going to respond to is, do you need to get admission first and then later apply? I think we mentioned this a little bit earlier. You can apply to the Commonwealth before you get admission from the university. When I applied, I didn't have any admission, but I told them that I am applying to this university. But it's really important for you to note that you have taken that initiative to apply, so you can better say, I have applied to this university and my application number is this and this and this. So it's better for you to first apply to the university, at least get the application number, and then apply to the Commonwealth. But if you haven't, it's all right. Some universities have longer deadlines. They can have the deadlines in about 4 months, but the Commonwealth has about maybe 1 month deadline, or it's going to close in a week. So it makes sense for you to first attend to the Commonwealth and then apply to the university. But without looking like I haven't taken any initiative to anything, you can just say, I have applied to this university and I'm planning to apply to other universities. That's what I can say. There was something else somebody asked.
I think someone was asking whether you can apply directly. I think you're the one. Without going through the nominating agencies. Yeah, Peter, Patrick hinted on that. You can actually, the Commonwealth shared scholarships, you can apply directly. I did mine directly, and I think...
Main.
Yeah.
Main, through Hali.
Okay, so you can do that directly. Yes.
Yeah. Is your microphone okay?
It was gone. It was off. Yeah, so, let me see, was there another question?
Yeah, all online.
Yeah, all the applications are online, and when you're choosing the university, the English test, someone is going to talk about it. The English test scores are very key. I'm going to give you an example about my own experience. I applied to 2 universities. One, the University of Bristol and London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Now, Bristol gave me an admission, but their score for public health was, they needed a minimum of 7.5. Now, London School, for the course that I applied for, needed 6.5 as a minimum. And when I started for the test, I scored exactly 6.5. So that's how I missed University of Bristol and ended up getting London School. So you have, as you choose your course, check each department at the university has their
own English test scores. It's not overall for one university. So as you choose a course, look at the English test scores because that is very important.
Thank you very much. Anna, do you have something else to add?
Yeah, I can add something there. If it's possible, some universities are really good at listening, so contact them because there are cases where you can't take the test. For example, we are in the middle of the pandemic. So contact your university, tell them your situation. Most universities do listen, they do understand, that's what I know. I didn't submit IELTS, I didn't know that. To join Oxford University. So just talk to your university, tell them you can't take the exam, or you did your bachelor's entirely in English. That is, why would I ask for that score if you did your bachelor's entirely in English? So, well, I'm not a university, so I can't really answer that question, but the thing is that contact your university, they will guide you through.
Thank you very much. And maybe I'll just add on that one, especially for the PhDs. I am also in the process of applying, I think, next year. So at PhD level, for those who are doing PhDs, the English many times does not require you to do the English test. But also at the master's level, if you are able to add and inform and demonstrate that for some universities that you have had your education at all levels being administered in English, sometimes they exempt you. Okay? So can we have the issue of the CVs and references? Patrick, do you want to talk about the CVs and references? Yes, Ibrahim, take it on.
Thank you so much. Regarding the CVs, you should be as detailed as possible when writing your CV. But the most important thing is to use the Europass online tool. If you go on Google and you type in Europass CV, they will give you a tool where you will enter, let's say, your employment experience, your education experience, your skills, the references, as in, it's a tool where if you fill, it's an online template, when you fill in after, you can download your CV. So it can be simple for you, and the Europass it's universal. Now the fact that you are applying in the UK, most of the universities are used to looking at the Europass CV. But if you just download any format, it may not be that precise for them to understand whatever you put there. But if you use the Europass, it will be easier for you and easier for them to. Yes, Europass CV. You can go on the website of the European Union.
Do you want to just write it here? Sometimes our pronunciation and our first languages make us pronounce S as C. Thank you.
It's like this, Europass CV. If you go online, you will find it there. Just go on the page of the European Union, and they will show you the Europass CV. Then Google will show you Europass CV online editor. You click on it, you open up an account, you input your experiences, your education experiences, your referees, the skills, and then at the end of it, you can download it as a PDF. You can download it as a Word document. You can share it by email, and it's your account. Whatever you add on, let's say you have added an educational certificate, you just update. And then you can easily share it because it's internationally recognized. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you can see the CVs are very important. Don't write a Bible with a CV of irrelevant stuff. So use the existing information and knowledge and customize it to international standards. Thank you very much. We have some online questions. One is from Desiree. Must you first get an admission? I think that one has been sorted. The next one is from Asimwe. Why must they, in brackets, the Commonwealth, require an English certification, yet the medium of instruction for our first degree is English? I think I've handled that a bit, but Ibrahim, you can take it on for the online viewer assembly, please.
Thank you. The reason as to why you are requested to take the ILTS, let me explain it. The word is IELTS. It's International English Language Testing System. Now, this is not a program to teach you English. It's a program to verify that you know English. They do understand you have studied your bachelor's in English, but they want to prove. So by sitting this, you get a certificate to officially prove that you know English. Actually, with my experience, I started this in 2017. I applied, I wasn't successful. In 2018, I had to seek for the other IELTS because it expires after 2 years. But I took the investment, just 1.2. However, if you get a scholarship, it's worth a lifetime. So it doesn't matter how much you're going to invest in sitting the IELTS, but the benefits you get after winning the scholarship are enormous.
Okay, thank you very much. There's another question from John Kiwatiokole, and he says, why is it that you only take those with second class upper? So I just needed you to clarify this, that it is not us who take, but then there are guidelines, and I would request that Patrick answers that question. Patrick, please.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting observation. Sometimes our natural thinking nature dictates what we want, but we would not want it to be done to us. In other words, what I'm saying is, if our colleague, I am trying to be as polite as possible, if he had a job, it would be highly unlikely of him to hire someone who failed at the university. And yet there is an opportunity of getting someone with very high grades. So like Ibra mentioned, it is just a verification system also to ascertain that indeed this person can legitimately excel or satisfy the requirements of that particular program. And for us as the alumni fraternity, we do not set those standards. They are requirements from the commission. About the English test, I know we had engagements with the commissioners at the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission in the UK while I was there, because of us being, slightly privileged as a knowledge hub coordinator. Because most of the countries in the sub-Saharan Africa, they were arguing that all their programs are done in English. Surprisingly, when we get there with our better English, we find out that the Chinese, the Indians, actually have higher scores in the English test, but when you sit with them in class, there is completely nothing they can speak. So, to some extent, I don't want to say it's a political tool, okay? But I think it will take some negotiation on the side of our leaders, to make sure that some of these things are waived off.
Thank you.
It is possible.
Thank you.
I think you will allow me the opportunity just to continue with the presentation of the process of application, and the grading system. Thank you. And I want to start with the one of PhD. because my friend down there tried to highlight something on it. I think Martin, about Martin emphasized something about PhD, that it seems it's much easier for guys who have done their PhD, the other side, to access these scholarships than it is for those who have done it from here. And the MC alluded to it with several other reasons. But I think it is much easier, like you mentioned, for those who have done it from outside to get these scholarships because of the networks they have, that is one. But secondly, their academic culture in the UK is different from ours. And so you can actually have a first class from here, and another person will get a second class upper from the other side. But what they value, the other side, are the abilities. What are the potentials you've gained? What are the skills you have gained? Not what are your scores. And so for us here, we focus more on the scores, but there they focus on your ability. A case in point, you will find A and B. A having very good scores, but tell them to put up, to give a write-up, what we are calling the personal statement. From the personal statement, they will say, yes, this one has a first class, but in terms of ability to write and all these things, there are challenges in there. So I for one, I did my master's from Uganda. Okay, I did my master's from Uganda. And literally speaking, if they were grading it, I would have got a first class degree in that master's program. But there are lots of things that I learned in addition to what I had got from Uganda. And that, in a way, strengthened me in how I engage with these guys. For instance, with a PhD, if you're applying for a PhD scholarship, you must have secured one, admission from the university, and you cannot secure an admission from the university without a supervisor from that university. Now, to get that supervisor, you must have an area of interest. Unlike here, where most times supervisors are from completely different departments, they're just to take you through because they have a general idea of what research entails. There, people are researching in the fields that they have expertise in. And so, before you apply for that course to get admission, you must have had contact with the supervisor in that field, had engagements with that person, and that person has accepted to be your supervisor based on your write-up, your proposal to him. And he may actually advise you to adjust
to him or her.
To him or her. Thank you. And of course, there is the third category, which I'm not going to emphasize. These days, they call them passengers. Now, so what I'm trying to emphasize is, and I'm being very respectful, okay? What I'm trying to say is, it is on the basis of that understanding with the supervisor that you'll apply to the university, the supervisor will recommend, and you'll get your admission letter. That is at PhD level. Now, when the Ministry of Education or FAWE or HALE or Window Trust, when they now advertise, they expect you to have the admission letter. And I'm talking about this from experience. I've been engaged in the process of applying for the PhD for some time now. Okay? And as I have just recently been nominated by the Ministry of Education to receive a Commonwealth scholarship for the PhD. However, I'm waiting for the last stage, which I'm going to share with you as I make this presentation. So those are the first stages in the application process as a PhD, as a candidate who is intending to enroll for the PhD. So after those, you now apply to the Ministry of Education, they interview you and all that. Then after the interview process, that is when they will nominate you and give you the link to now apply through the online portal. They call it the electronic application system portal. Now, through that portal, now you apply to the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission. Now, when you apply, your application is subjected to some scrutiny, and there are aspects that they will scrutinize. One is, of course, the academic merit of the course, and your qualifications that should connect intricately with the course that you are applying for. I would have given several examples, but because time is not our best ally, it would be highly unlikely for someone who has done Bachelor's of Arts to apply for public health. It is possible by the to cross, but if you are doing it in this competitive environment, chances are that you will be outcompeted by those who were in public health and they are moving to the next level. So there must be some relevance in the course you're applying for. And that connection between your previous qualification and what you're going for adds value. And so what is it that you are proposing? Your proposal, the research proposal, because you are expected to have one as a PhD prospective candidate. You are expected to have one. So how relevant is that proposal? And that is when now you must be connected to the academic world, especially in that field. That yes, these are the studies which have been done, and this is what I'm proposing to do because of these following gaps. Now, that requires deep study. If I'm to give you an example, I started my application for the PhD in 2019. Now, in 2019, that is the time I used to scan the environment, especially the universities where I wanted to apply to. And it was not based on the name of the university, but it was based on the area which I wanted to do my study in. My study is mainly focusing on employability, how scholars can get to the university and come out of it when they are equipped with the right skill sets to impact their country or their economy. That is my focus, looking at the course content, the teaching methodologies, and the environment where they are studying. So I had to look for area experts in that field. Most of them, they are in Glasgow and Southampton, not even again Cambridge. Cambridge, there is only one person who accepted to supervise it, but that is not his field. So when you're going for PhD, it's not even about the name of the university. It is now about the field you want to study in and who are the area experts in that field. You need to map and get in touch with them. One of the ways of getting in touch with them is reading their articles, and when you communicate to them through their emails, you appreciate some of their writings and highlight that, by the way, I was so much enthralled by this particular article, and it is out of that article that I have the impression to study also this particular topic. I mean, when I did that and communicated to them, within a week I had their feedback. They were all willing to supervise me. But what they did was to schedule an interview with me. The university was not yet aware. So I had interviews with supervisors from Southampton University and Glasgow University. That was early 2020, before I could even apply for the scholarships. So the advice said, okay, now you can go ahead, work, adjust. By that time, I had already developed my proposal. They said, okay, we've studied it, adjust, look at these areas, look at these frameworks, and so forth. So once I did that, they told me, okay, go ahead and apply. It didn't take long before I was admitted in those universities. Now, the admissions I got are the ones now I used to apply for the scholarships when the Ministry of Education advertised. So you can see the process. It's long. And that's one of the reasons why we are here, so that we share this knowledge. That is for PhD. It's a rigorous process. And I noticed it once I was nominated by the Ministry of Education and I submitted the online application. In 2 days, the supervisor at Glasgow and Cambridge, they had already supplied their references. Why? Because of the connection that I had with them. So after that process, now it is out of their hands, out of my hands. I have submitted my application with the impact, the development challenges that I intend to solve and all that, deriving them from the National Development Plan. And of course, scanning some from also the Strategic Development Goals. Now, the onus is now on the CSC, the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission. But there are two processes there. One, there is an expert, an area expert or an academic expert who analyzes the submissions that we have made online. Then after analyzing, he forwards it now to the selection committee. Now, all those guys, when they are now scanning them, it is more of comparing what A has presented and what B has presented, so that at least one of them gets it. Because normally they will send slots that, okay, give us 15, nominate 15 people. But from the understanding that I have is that the Ministry of Education nominates 15, but that 15 is like 3 times what they are going to offer. I hope the understanding is there that out of the 15 they will offer 5. Okay, so that is what happens. So I've shared with you about supervision. Then of course, as PhD scholars, you must have published with peer-reviewed journals, with clear DOIs, digital object identifiers, maybe published online or in the newspapers, or even your dissertations or thesis. They also count as publications. So your application is always assessed on its academic merit, the proposal, and its development impact. And this, by the way, to some extent, also applies to masters. Masters, you don't have the luxury of looking for a supervisor and all this, unless for that specific program that is the requirement. You don't. Always for masters, they will send the application, you apply, then when you apply, you will be now requested to, while you're submitting, when you're nominated, you will now apply through the online portal and apply to 3 universities. You don't have that luxury of looking for supervisor and so forth. All right? So that's the bit that I wanted to share. We don't have so much time. This is just to introduce the topic so that those who are willing, we can engage more proactively. All right? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for that insight for those who are interested in the PhDs, but also the insight that you've given with the selection process. So it's a rigorous process, and many people struggle and are struggling, and you must be patient. So now I would request that we have Loris coming to share with us insights about the English test. The English test. Do we have any questions online while Loris comes? I don't think. So Loris is going to share with us about the proficiency tests. Thank you. The floor is yours.